This is part 3 of the series' biggest unsolved mysteries. There are some historical mysteries that may never be solved. Sometimes, that's because the relevant excavated material has been lost or an archaeological site has been destroyed. Other times, it's because new evidence is unlikely to come forward or the surviving evidence is too vague to lead scholars to a consensus. 5. McKenzie Poltergeist in Greyfriars. The McKenzie Poltergeist is one of the most famous attractions when taking the City of the Dead tour within the Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh. Greyfriars Kirkyard is the graveyard surrounding Greyfriars Kirk in Edinburgh, Scotland. The site is one of the most bloody religious persecutions carried out in the 17th century by King-appointed Lord Advocate Sir George Mackenzie against the rebel Presbyterian Covenanters for their failure to accept state-approved religion and swear loyalty to the king. It is also the location of the most well-documented poltergeist activity in the world, the McKenzie Poltergeist in Greyfriars, the friars of which wore grey robes. In all, Mackenzie was responsible for the deaths of 18,000 of his countrymen in pursuit of a unified religion, during a period that was labeled, the killing time. For 300 years, both victims and tormentor rested in an uneasy peace, just feet from each other. And, then one dark and stormy night in 1998, a homeless man, possibly wanting shelter from the rain or looking for something valuable to steal, broke into the Black Mausoleum, a vaulted and well-fortified tomb, the final resting place of the infamous Bloody Mackenzie. The vagrant ransacked the tomb, smashing caskets on every level until he came to one which held the body of Bloody Mackenzie himself. While trying to pry open the casket, a large hole opened up in the floor under his feet, dropping the man into a chamber below. The pit was filled with the remains of plague victims, unceremoniously dumped into the hole and covered over during plague days as a quick way to dispose of bodies. Confronted by the putrefied remains and stench of still rotting flesh, the homeless man ran screaming hysterically from the mausoleum into the night, never to be heard from again. Nowadays, people who join the tour here often say that they experience bruises, scratches, and some even faint as they enter and see the Black Mausoleum where Sir George Mackenzie lies. 4. Abandoned ship the Mary Celeste. In 1872, Captain Benjamin Briggs, his family, and a small, trusted crew set sail on a voyage from New York to Genoa on a merchant ship called the Mary Celeste. 1 month later, the ship was found adrift off the coast of Portugal, with not a soul on board. The riddle of the Mary Celeste has intrigued and mystified ever since, with numerous competing theories on just what happened to Briggs and the other people on board. Mary Celeste was an American merchant brigantine, discovered adrift and deserted in the Atlantic Ocean, off the Azores Islands, on December 5, 1872. The Canadian brigantine Dei Gratia found her in a disheveled but seaworthy condition, under partial sail, and with her lifeboat missing. The last entry in her log was dated 10 days earlier. She had left New York City for Genoa on November 7, and on discovery was still ample provisioned. Her cargo of 1,701 barrels of poisonous denatured alcohol was intact, and the captain's and crew's personal belongings were undisturbed. There are some theories on what happened to the Mary Celeste, such as the idea that members of the crew had got violently drunk on the ship's cargo of alcohol, and then massacred everyone else on board before departing on the ship's sole lifeboat. Another idea is that North African pirates have attacked the ship and killed the crew. Or even worse, the crew of the Dei Gratia, the ship which had actually discovered the empty Mary Celeste, perhaps they had in reality attacked the Mary Celeste and then pretended to have found her adrift so they could gain money from the salvage. However, none of those who had been on board were ever seen or heard from again. 3. SS Ourang Medan dead crew. What happened to Dutch SS Ourang Medan, or Man from Medan in Malaysia, is perhaps one of the most fascinating and mind-boggling mysteries that ever existed in seafaring history. Everything began with an SOS message in 1947 that mentioned the captain, along with the rest of the crew, was dead. What's worse, even the telegrapher died during the transmission of the message. When the Silver Star was able to receive the distress call and went to inspect the ship, they confirmed the deaths of all aboard. Rescue party found whole crew dead in the same weird posture, their eyes open, faces looking towards the sun, arms outstretched. Speculations of ghosts, hazardous chemicals, and even aliens have been raised, but there is still no conclusion as to what actually happened. 2. Nazca Geoglyphs in Peru. The Nazca civilization is responsible for some of the most fascinating geoglyphs on the face of the earth. They include everything from spiders, monkeys, sharks, orcas, and flowers, the precision of which is incredible given that the Nazca had no way of examining their work from above. The artworks located in the Peruvian coastal plain about 250 miles south of Lima, Peru, dated back to the 2,000 years ago, can only be fully appreciated when viewed from the air given their massive size. Despite being studied for over 80 years, we cannot explain how and by which techniques the Nazca people could create those magic larger geoglyphs so perfectly. The geoglyphs, which were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1994, are still a mystery to researchers. And number 1. Stonehenge of the UK. While Stonehenge is a very fascinating structure due to the big rocks that stand atop one another, the biggest mystery isn't how it was created but why. From archaeologists to modern-day pagans to Spinal Tap fans, Stonehenge is truly a place of wonder where the demons dwell, where the banshees live, and they do live well. The prehistoric monument has been the source of a great deal of speculation over its meaning, purpose, and construction. Here are some of the theories surrounding those ancient stones. It was a very fancy cemetery. Over the years, the remains of 63 different people have been exhumed from the site, in the form of more than 50,000 cremated bone fragments. Apparently the burials occurred way back around 3000 BC, roughly 100 years after the first stones were placed on the site. Given those rubbery figures, it's possible the initial structure was designed as an over-the-top headstone arrangement. It was designed for healing and pilgrimage. There's another theory about why those remains were found there, and it's based on the fact that a lot of them appear to have suffered from illness or injury. This suggests that people saw Stonehenge as a place to travel when you weren't well, in the hope of getting magical first aid. Further investigation revealed fragments of the first stones had been chipped away, which could have been so people could craft them into healing talismans. Or they were just tourist vandals. Aliens did it? There was once a strong school of thought that held that ancient people were idiots who couldn't build anything as amazing as the wonders still standing among us today, so they must have had help. Obviously Merlin and his fairy minions are ridiculous, but aliens, well, it makes sense that they would pop down and help our forebears construct monolithic calculators. All you have to do is squint, fudge a few measurements, take liberties in the interpretation of ancient artworks and slash or Bible passages, and it makes perfect sense. It is not that old. The photos, below, showing people in the process of building Stonehenge bring a lot of reactions from people all over the world. It is claimed that they were taken in 1954. With a closer look, most people would agree that the photos are not showing a repair project but a building project, since most of the stones that are present today are not there yet in the photos. The set of photos also shows the site before the construction of the Stonehenge. Please like and subscribe button below. Or click the bell symbol to be alerted of new video every day from Top 5. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe button below. Or click the bell symbol to be alerted of new video every day from Top 5. Thank you for watching.